Welcome to Top Stories Today. Please subscribe and then check notification box to get all breaking news alert. All hell breaks loose on Fox News. Laura Ingraham Eviscerates Megyn Kelly, live on air. Yesterday, was reported that Megyn Kelly brought 3 women, who have accused Donald Trump of sexual misconduct on her morning show to increase ratings. Hours later, Fox News host Laura Ingraham gave a brutal dose of reality to Kelly, who claimed that she planned to stay out of politics when she started on NBC. Mad World News reported that Ingraham began by slamming NBC for trying to distract from their own journalistic and sex abuse scandals by dragging out women who accuse President Trump of sexual misconduct. It's barely even been a week since legendary NBC host Matt Lauer was fired for sexual misconduct. Watch the video.
Tonight's angle. It wasn't just another fake news story attempting to tie President Trump to Russia. CNN's disgraceful reporting of last week seems like a watershed moment, a blatant example of the establishment media's reckless coverage of the so-called Russia collusion story. On Friday, you'll recall CNN reported that WikiLeaks tried to share hacked documents with the Trump campaign and Don Trump Jr. back in September of 2016. And that report was quickly picked up by other news organizations. But it turned out those documents had already been made public, and the dates of the Don Jr. emails reported by CNN were false. The bombshell quickly blew up in CNN's face. CNN never retracted the story, but took 5 hours to post a correction after it was debunked. On Sunday, the host of CNN's Reliable Sources, Brian, a.k.a. Shoeless Stetler, refused to explain how the network got the story so wrong. Instead, what he did is he trotted out that old Watergate dinosaur, Carl Bernstein, and the perpetual Trump critic, David Frum, who both ignored the question of how CNN botched the story. Though they did revert to the CNN party line, and, well, they just attacked the president.
The sources weren't trying to trick the reporters. The sources were just mistaken. But that mistake obviously caused a black eye for CNN.
Journalists make mistakes. Our record as journalists in covering this Trump story and the Russian story is pretty good, especially compared to the record of Donald Trump.
From the president and his supporters, you hear a system of lies. So they're not well placed to complain. The worst mistakes that press organizations have made in the coverage of Trump has precisely occurred in their overzealous effort to be fair to the president.
Wait a second. Now, CNN concocts a damaging story about the president, and they only did so because they're trying to be utterly fair to him? I'm not following any of this. I need to buy a major vowel or two. The media are destroying their credibility, whatever is left of it, by allowing politics to dominate editorial decisions and color their reporting. This is no way to build public confidence. And by the way, it's not just CNN. ABC's Brian Ross reported that candidate Trump instructed Michael Flynn to reach out to the Russians when it was actually President-elect Trump. Oops. The Washington Post reporter, Dave Weigel, let's not forget him, he tweeted a photo from the Trump rally in Florida on Friday showing lots and lots of empty seats. Didn't look good. Turns out he took the picture before the audience had actually entered the arena. That's cute. He did apologize later. But not surprisingly, polls show the American public is losing faith in how the media are covering Trump. A Quinnipiac poll last month found 58% of American voters disapprove of the way the media covers the president, while only 38% approve. 53% of voters said the media focuses too much on negative stories about Trump. So the media's answer today? More negative stories about Trump. Well, in an attempt, I think, to revive some of their flagging ratings and maybe distract from their own journalistic and sex abuse scandals, the networks dragged out Trump accusers again. The president, of course, has denied these allegations, but that didn't stop Megyn Kelly from showcasing them on her own struggling morning show. So much for her staying out of politics. Wasn't that she said she was going to do? Well, they then held a press conference sponsored by a Soros-backed group called Brave New Films. peel back the curtain a little bit, Brave New Films describes itself as a quick strike media company that has produced a string of liberal documentaries. Establishment media tripped over themselves to take the bait and turned today's White House press briefing into a total circus.
Jim?
If I may, though, I was going to ask a question about something else.
Well, you used it on something else. Jim?
If I may,
Sarah, not today. We're going to keep moving, guys.
If I can ask about the president's accusations.
Have you ever been sexually harassed, and do you understand, and I'm not saying by the president, I'm saying ever.
This is spinning, and it's focused on him now.
And he's addressed it directly to the American people.
It's coming up new and afresh, and more people are now speaking out.
April, I'm going to keep moving.
I understand, but will the president address the nation on this? So this is a huge issue, Sarah.
Yeah, North Korea, all this. But this is a huge issue. Yeah, it's a huge issue for a media obsessed with driving Trump from office at all costs. Well, now, on the day before the Alabama Senate election, as we predicted last week when Democrats ran Al Franken out of the Senate, without so much as a scheduled hearing, Senator Kirsten Gillibrand is calling for President Trump to resign from office. This is a craven attempt to weaken the president with these choreographed allegation parades. But, my friends, they won't work. But at least now it's easier to see with whom certain media organizations are colluding and to what end. And that's the angle. One Pulitzer Prize-winning journalist is sounding.
The president, of course, has denied these allegations, but that didn't stop Megyn Kelly from showcasing them on her own struggling morning show, Ingraham said on Monday night. So much for her staying out of politics. Wasn't that what she was going to do? Well, they then held a press conference sponsored by a George Soros-backed group called Brave New Films, added Ingraham. Brave New Films describes itself as a quick strike media company that has produced a string of liberal documentaries. Establishment media tripped over themselves to take the bait and turned today's White House press briefing into a total circus. Liberal reporters confronted White House Press Secretary Sarah Huckabee Sanders on Monday about the allegations, with April Ryan saying, "This is a huge issue, Sarah." Ingraham acknowledged that there are huge issues at hand at this moment in time, but none of them include bogus harassment allegations, which the president has categorically denied. Well, now, on the day before the Alabama Senate election, as we predicted last week when Democrats ran Al Franken out of the Senate without so much as a scheduled hearing, Senator Kirsten Gillibrand is calling for President Trump to resign from office, continued Ingraham. This is a craven attempt to weaken the president with these choreographed allegation parades. But, my friends, they won't work. But at least now it's easier to see with whom certain media organizations are colluding, and to what end. Kelly and the rest of the mainstream media are treating the allegations against Trump as absolute fact, even though there is absolutely no evidence to support them. Most of the allegations are from decades ago, and none of the women have mentioned anything about Trump to anyone until now. What do you think about this? Please share this news and scroll down to comment below, and don't forget to subscribe. Top Stories Today.